Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney. On this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. Funny story from last night. I was at a dinner, very nice restaurant, and somebody was like looking at me from across the table and like just kept looking at me and was like, I was like, you can just ask what's going on. And this person was like, what's wrong with your neck? I was like, oh, I'm missing like a third of my neck. I had neck cancer. Perfectly fine now. And that's perfectly fine to ask me. Like, doesn't bother me at all. Not an issue. It was like this person's world imploded. Like, I had like ruined this person's night by saying that. And I was like, I'm good. But they were just so flustered, I guess, that they had asked. I don't really understand. It's like, you can, but if I do it like this, you can kind of see it, right? Like, it's pretty noticeable in person, and it is a little odd looking, but it's odd looking in like a, that's not how humans look. That's not the normal features of a human. A little uncanny valley, like a little strange. So it does. You'll see people like looking at it from time to time. But yeah, this person was just like so flustered. And I was like, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Like, it doesn't bother me. No, best deal I ever made. I'm still here, right? Take that deal any day of the week. You want the other third? Other side? I mean, it'll look weird, but we can do it. Who needs, lymph nodes or whatever they're called? Maybe they're important. I don't know. Anyways, it was really funny. I felt really bad. Like, I felt like I almost felt like I should have lied or something, like, because the true answer, like, bothered the person a lot. And I was like, I don't care. It's cool. Anyways, I digress. We have a question here from Carol Mosier, 7745. And Carol's question is, hey, Vince, can loss of consortium be a claim in employment discrimination? All right, so listen. Real quick, let's cover what loss of consortium is. It's the loss of the physical intimacy with your, I believe it's limited to married partner. Although now certainly it should be extended to domestic partners, because love is love, right? And I just don't know where the case law stands and to what extent loss of consortium has been extended in that way. I'm not going to speak out of turn. And also that's probably going to be different from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So, like, even if I knew the lay of the land for that case law in New York, it wouldn't necessarily be the lay of the land for the case law wherever you are. So that's what loss of consortium is, right? It's the loss of physical intimacy between spouses. And this actually comes up more often than you would think in employment law because, listen, there's two things that happen. A lot of these cases create a lot of PTSD, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of really negative physical symptoms of emotional trauma, and there's things that happen that might make one partner the victim of sexual harassment or workplace discrimination, unavailable to their spouse for intimacy. And so a lot of times you'll get the spouse of the victim saying, hey, I want to bring a loss of consortium claim. And generally, you can hear the employment attorneys of the country right now holding their breath. Generally, most employment attorneys are going to say, no, you're not my client. You can go hire another attorney to do that, but I'm not going to do that. That's a high-risk, low-value claim. And I want to just really quick take a moment to say, before I go on, that is accurate advice. That is a high-risk, low-value claim, without question. Now, that I have met the needs of all the collective employment attorneys of the nation by giving them the answer they wanted me to say, I'm forced to admit that I worked on a case which came to me as had been originally filed by a moron. And that moron didn't know things like what claims are high risk and low value. They just threw everything in, and the spouse of their client wanted a loss of consortium claim, so they just threw it in willy-nilly. Didn't even really plead it all that correctly, but it was a good case. And the clients fired this idiot and hired a firm that I worked for. And I was one of the attorneys stuck on the case. good case. I'm not complaining about the case. Good case, great client, lovely people. Exciting case to work on. Really fantastic. I'm not going to give any details about anything, obviously, but like, just really, really fantastic clients. And fantastic team. It was a great team to work with. And I'm pretty critical of people I work with, in all honesty. So like, when I say fantastic team, I mean it sincerely. So that case had a loss consortium claim. And some weird stuff happened during that case. It was a very tumultuous litigation. It went to trial. And at trial, because nobody's going to pay a settlement on a loss consortium claim in this field, almost ever. But it did seem like some of the jurors might be a little sweet on the spouse of the plaintiff. And there was some weird jury box to spouse interplay that went on that I had to kind of like step on, because you don't want anything inappropriate going on, threatening your verdict. And then out of nowhere, the team put up the win. I'm not taking credit for this win at all. Team put up the win, and out of nowhere, lost the consortium claim, comes in for like more than six figures. Not even pittance compared to the valuation of the case, mind you, but just out of nowhere, a sizable win for loss of consortium. Now, I share that story because I need to be accurate and give you the complete answer. The correct answer is, yes, you can bring a loss consortium claim if it is appropriate. However, that is a very high risk, very low value claim, and most attorneys will choose not to do that for you. And they will be correct in that choice. But I must acknowledge that once upon a time, that choice was not available to me, and that claim made money. Certainly that claim made at least as much money as it cost to litigate it. No, it made much more. It made much more than it cost to litigate it, because it was a sideshow. It was a sideshow to a very large litigation, and like a little, I don't know, probably 4 hours total of testimony, right? And it worked out. It just panned out. So yeah, clearly in that one singular scenario with some weird stuff going on, and some very tender and uncomfortable testimony, it did, it panned out, right? It worked out. And I would just say that's the exception that proves the rule. That loss consortium claims in employment law, they can theoretically be viable. I understand why people want to bring the claim. I understand the narrative. I understand the realities of some of the things that are going on. It's just that attorneys are generally not going to want to bring those claims. But I'm repeating myself. If this was helpful, like, subscribe, comment down below, share the channel so it may grow. Take care, everybody.